All right, let's talk about something I'm willing to bet almost everyone listening has felt. It's that weird, almost magnetic pull to stay up super late, even when you shouldn't.
Does this sound familiar? You know, the house is finally quiet, your body is just screaming for sleep, you are completely exhausted, but there you are, scrolling on your phone or heading next episode on a show. If you do this, I'm telling you, you are not alone. And there's a really good reason why we do it.
And this quote really just hits the nail on the head. This isn't about being lazy or having bad discipline. It's actually an emotional act. It's like a tiny protest against a day that was just packed with demands, a day where it felt like all of your time belonged to somebody or something else. So, what is going on in our heads during this quiet little rebellion? Well, it turns out there's a really fascinating battle happening inside our brains, a fight for control. Yep, this whole thing actually has a name. It's called revenge bedtime procrastination, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's that conscious choice to sacrifice sleep just to get a little bit of leisure time, specifically because you feel like you got none of it during the day. Think about your self-control like it's a muscle. All day long, you're flexing it, right? You're meeting deadlines, you're managing other people's needs, you're resisting the urge to eat that cookie. By the end of the day, that muscle is totally worn out, and your brain's reward system just starts screaming for a little freedom, a little bit of choice. And that leads to this civil war inside your head. On one side, you've got your logical brain, the responsible adult who's pointing at the clock, fully aware of the consequences tomorrow. But then you've got the reward brain, which could not care less about tomorrow. It wants a treat, it wants control, and it wants it right now. And this is exactly why those specific activities are so tempting. I mean, let's be honest. Mindlessly scrolling social media isn't exactly high-quality leisure, right? And watching random videos, and eating a bowl of cereal, they all have one thing in common: you chose to do it. It's a tiny little act of freedom in a day that felt completely controlled by others. Okay, but here's where it gets tricky. This little act of rebellion, it's not a one-and-done thing. It actually feeds on itself, and it creates a cycle that can be incredibly hard to break. Let's dig into how that loop actually works. I think this quote just explains it perfectly. When you do this, you're basically taking out a high-interest loan on tomorrow's energy. You're borrowing just a tiny bit of relief for tonight, even though you know deep down that the payback tomorrow is going to be brutal. But that immediate need for control, it just feels too strong to ignore. So here's the downward spiral in action. It starts with a crazy, demanding day that just wipes out your willpower. That leads to this intense craving for control at night. So you give in with bedtime procrastination, which of course leads to sleep debt. And here's the real kicker. Being tired makes it even harder to have self-control the next day, which makes you even more likely to do the exact same thing again. It's a vicious cycle. And the costs here are so real. This isn't just about feeling a little groggy. Your sleep debt gets deeper and deeper, which makes you more irritable, less able to handle your emotions. And guess what? That just increases your brain's desperation for some kind of rewarding me time the next night, and on it goes. Okay, so that's the problem, and that's the loop. And it can feel pretty hopeless, I know. But here's the good news. You are not powerless here. So let's talk about some actual practical strategies you can use to get that control back and break this cycle for good. And the key here isn't just about trying harder or using more willpower. That's a losing game. It's about working with your brain's needs. We're going to look at 3 tactics: creating an autonomy ritual but doing it earlier, reducing the friction to sleep, and totally reframing how you think about bedtime in the first place. First up, the autonomy ritual. The idea is super simple. Don't wait until you're exhausted at 11 p.m. to give your brain what it's craving. You have to schedule a small, chosen activity, reading a book, listening to music, whatever it is for you, but do it earlier in the evening. This satisfies that need for control before you're standing at the bedroom door, ready to rebel. Next, you gotta reduce the friction. Look, when you're tired, even tiny little tasks can feel like climbing Mount Everest. Part of why we procrastinate is because getting ready for bed can feel like another chore. So, is your bed already made? Are your pajamas laid out? Make the path from your couch to your pillow as smooth and easy as possible. Remove all the excuses. Now this might be the most powerful mind trick of them all. You have to stop thinking of going to bed on time as giving in or being obedient. Reframe it. Going to sleep is an act of power. You are actively protecting your most valuable resources for tomorrow: your energy, your focus, your sanity. It's an investment in the future you.
So, as we wrap this all up, the biggest thing I want you to take away is a shift in perspective. This late night habit that feels so completely rational, it's actually a predictable biological pattern. It is not a character flaw.
And honestly, just understanding that is the first step to freedom. Once you can see the loop for what it is, a draining day creating a need for control, it starts to lose its power. It's not some weird, mysterious force making you self-sabotage anymore. So you can stop beating yourself up. You can stop calling yourself lazy or undisciplined. Instead, you can look at this behavior and just see it for what it is: a trainable loop, a pattern that with the right strategies, you can absolutely 100% change.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question. This isn't about some massive life overhaul. It's just about tonight. What is one small, chosen piece of your evening that you can reclaim for yourself to protect your resources for tomorrow?